Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to May Influence You. I have a special guest today. She is a TikTok mom, and she is also my daughter. Her name is Taylor Paul. She is here with me today.
Hi, everyone.
I get to be the lucky one to get you on my very first podcast to tell us a little bit about the drama that went down in February where you're breaking social media all over the internet again from your divorce. Tell us a little bit about what went on that night.
Well, this is the first podcast that I am going to be, I guess, talking about that night. I haven't, I was actually recommended not to talk about it for legal purposes, but it is all done now. So I think I am at this point able to talk about it. But I was arrested back in February 17th to be exact, and I'll never forget that night because it was one of the worst nights of my life. I actually haven't talked about it with like anyone really besides the people involved, and I got I got arrested for one. I guess to start from the very beginning, I went to a party and I was really struggling at the time due to, I think, a whole bunch of reasons: my divorce, pregnancy loss, and then just a whole bunch of things mixed together. And I think I was like suppressing all the feelings. And then I have like a little bit of drama in my current relationship at the time. So it was all like adding up, and one night I just went out with my girls, and I was doing, I would say, well up until that night, which I thought I was good. I guess I thought I was doing better, but I ended up drinking, and then a flood of emotions ended up coming out that night, and I think emotions I wasn't letting myself feel. It was started with sadness and then turned into major anger towards my boyfriend, and there's a lot of things I was resenting him for at the time, and I won't go into detail about that, but it ended up being like a very aggressive fight. I was throwing chairs and screaming at him and throwing, just things. And then I ended up getting arrested. So our neighbor called the cops because she could hear screaming, so she thought I needed help. But we were kind of both yelling at each other, and then I was being charged because I threw a chair, one, assaulting him, but two, like, potentially could have, hit my daughter because she was sleeping on the couch and I was unaware she was on the couch that night. I was like blacked out at this point, so I had no idea. Usually they're sleeping up in their bed, so I had no idea she was right there, and I was just throwing stuff. And so yeah, I got charged with child abuse because it's called reckless child abuse. So you can throw something and accidentally, if you accidentally hurt your child, it is considered child abuse. In this state, I don't know how other states work, but so I got a lot of different charges. So assault, and then like throwing things at his car. All of those were, I guess, fast forward, everything was dropped besides the assault. And I'm currently on probation for it. Yeah, and I'm on probation for 3 years, and if I do good, it could end early. If I'm well behaved. But yeah, that's like the gist of that story. It's like a short version.
Sure. I know a lot of people think that the chair actually hit Indy, which it did not, and a lot of false information was going around social media, and I know that had to have been tough on you and everybody that you're around.
Yeah. It was exaggerated. Like, there were things on the internet that were like false stories, things were exaggerated, and it was a horrible night, and it was like, I know that I was at fault for one, drinking that night, and then initiating the fight. I know, and I think that's why it's like so hard on me to even like think about this, and it's actually really hard to talk about still because it comes with like a lot of guilt and shame, and that was like one of the worst times in my entire life. And not only that, are you feeling that with doing that and knowing what you did, but also the entire internet judging you for it. So it's like, you're a child abuser, you're a domestic violence like abuser, and it's like, she probably abused her ex-husband. And so all these like assumptions are coming out. And one, I'm like a really passive mom. Like I have never spanked my children. I'm just like really easygoing, if not too easygoing. Like they kind of walk all over me because I'm just chill with my
Very
kids.
chill. Yes, and it's also, I know that because she is my daughter, and like I've stated before, and my husband, we were totally shocked that she was going to jail, especially for some kind of violence, because over 29 years, she has never even raised her voice at her parents throughout her whole life. And for your daughter to be going to jail for something like this big was huge.
Yeah.
And so anybody that knows you knows that you're like the most passive person. And I don't know how you stayed face on the internet, knowing all the comments that you received. I know just even with being your parents, like your dad and I would receive comments and messages that were so mean and so hurtful. I couldn't even deal with it. And so I don't know how that, how you were able to deal with it all this time.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do to help yourself get through all the negativity that you're going through?
Well, I do have my 2 kids to thank for that time because they were like the reason I like wanted to like hold on. Like with the amount of like bullying you get with that is like you become like suicidal. Like you're just like sorry, it's like I'm like really talked about it. Like it all it's just like really hard because you feel like all this guilt and shame and then you see all these people like kind of like feeding that and they're like, you are a horrible person, you are a horrible mom. And so you like start to believe all these horrible thoughts. And so I was in my bed for like 2 weeks because I ended up getting both kids. Like my ex-husband was like, hey, I can give you a break, like I need you to figure out your stuff before I want you with the kids. And I completely understood given the circumstance. And so I didn't see my daughter for a month, and that was like the hardest thing I'd ever been through, and my son for 2 weeks. And so it was really hard at the time. I was in bed for I think 2 weeks straight crying, and my boyfriend that I assaulted thankfully was there by my side because I think he knew all the stuff I was going through. And yes, it was like awful, but I think he knew it wasn't extremely personal to him. I think I just went psychotic one night and he was just the one there. And unfortunately, that's how it turned out. And so it was just like really hard for those 2 weeks. And I honestly don't know the advice I would give other than like just holding on. Like it does get better eventually. And it's really hard in that moment to like believe that it does. Like I was just had I never thought to be suicidal, but I was like in that moment, I was like, I just don't want to be here anymore. And I cried to my boyfriend and he would like hold me and I'm like, and the pain without your children is like really, there's no like, I can't describe it. It was the most painful thing I've ever been through. So that was hard, but looking back at it now to tell myself then, it would be like just to hold on and get through it. And the internet doesn't determine like your self-worth and they don't know the story, the extent of the story. I have to remember I have like so much support on my end now because I think people like got a bigger picture and they like, if you've been following me for a long time, you know what type of person I am. I'm not violent for one. I'm not a child abuser. Like it's just.
You are the best mom. I think that is your best character trait. Like you are just the best mom.
Which is hard to believe now because the last year has been a shit show and I have been selfish and it's been really hard to get through these things. I've never experienced divorce and I never experienced the level of, it was all over that. My divorce was all over the internet as well. So I was getting, that's a whole other story in itself. But to have all of that,
Publicly.
yeah, I was just struggling and I did have a lot of selfish tendencies at that time. I was putting, my feelings and all of that before and I wasn't the best mom I could be and I know that I am. And so this last year I wouldn't admit that I have not been the best of the mom, like the best version of a mom. So it's like, but other than that and before, I think I have been a great mom and I will continue to be one. And these are major learning lessons that, I've learned. And I hope one day maybe I can help other people out there that go through hard things and maybe to not take the direction I have in so many different ways that I've made mistakes. I think people
Sure.
should maybe look at my life and be like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. Maybe like,
Sure.
to help them,
Yes.
And I've had so many people come to me and they're like, I'm feeling this way about someone else, or I feel this way in my marriage. What should I do? And it was hard because I'm like, I'm not that person to come to because I made that mistake, but also I could be that person because I could be like, if I would have done this differently, I would have went with my first gut feelings was to get a separation. And I asked for that twice, and I think going back, I would have just done that instead of like progressing in the shit show that we were in. And I've given the advice to women is just like, don't hurt your partner in that way. If you want out, don't venture off into another relationship. Don't feed that. Take a step back. See if you don't want to be with that person or do. And then if you don't want to be with them, then go. Like, you don't need to hurt them twice. And that's the mistake that I made, you know?
Yeah. I think people just jump into, just I want to get it over with, and they jump and not really looking at, like your two kids and, what it affects and who it affects. And I think that would be hard. And knowing all of this, I've gone through it with you. And so I know the person that you are, the character that you are. So many people don't know the real, Taylor Paul.
Which is what I wanted to an extent.
Yes.
I've hidden like who you wouldn't even know my real personality. I feel like unless you know me. I'm starting to share more of it recently, but I feel like I was always so different than I was like in person. I think I'm a way cooler person in person than I am online. Like I was more a jokester, or maybe come off like as bitchy. But when people meet me, they're like, "Oh, you're actually you're really nice."
So nice, nice.
I don't know if I came off as a bitch for some reason. I think I make like serious jokes or like mean jokes that people think I'm a mean person, but I'm not.
You're not a mean person at all. I know. I know so many people love you, and you have a lot of great followers and great people who, do have your back and who are also nice out there and loving and forgiving and know that, stuff happens in life, and that's how we learn from all our mistakes to get on to the, to maybe better someone else. And also better ourselves.
Yeah. And you've been amazing to help me. My mom was she was behind me all of, like, I feel like every step of the way, like, helping me. So thank you for that.
That's kind of embarrassing for me. No, I don't know. Of course, I'm your mom, and I'm always going to have your back and always have your best interest.
But you're not like, people think because they're like, oh, that's her mom, she'll always like hide her mistakes or anything. And my mom's like very like, if you do this, you're gonna be like, we were like raised like you're gonna have consequences for your actions. And if like I did anything crazy, like my mom would not stand for like something extremely bad. Like right, like with my child abuse charges, like she knows me well enough. If I was actually doing something like that, she would never have had my back. Like
yes, of course, yes.
You would have been like, oh, we are taking your kids away, like
absolutely,
because she knows me and
I know who you. Yes, I know who you are, and just social media and the news and everybody just made you to be this person that you're not. And it actually gave me and your dad, and I'm sure you, like, just the process of like the news and what's out there. And they don't always tell the full story, and they don't always tell the truth, and the way that like the whole process, if you get arrested and you have to go through court, like we never have experienced any of that before in our family. So that was a whole different ball game for sure. And we got to learn a lot. And it also gave me like sympathy for like people that when we'd see them in court and be able to like, they're somebody else's daughter or son, and they're, maybe the choices that they made weren't right at the time, but they're probably still a great person. And before, like, if you went to jail, I would be like, like kind of judgmental. But in reality, it's like people make bad choices. And sometimes it stems from like the drinking and the, drugs, and makes people do things that they normally wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And so I do think it's a good learning lesson for you and maybe your siblings, to to have to see that, and hopefully that you can go on a different path. And
Yeah, they said they thanked me, or my brother and sister thanked me because they're like, oh, can't get worse than you. So they're the golden children now.
oh no.
But yeah, hopefully they can learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Like, people's mistakes don't define them. And I think especially off of an incident like this, I can grow and learn from it. I think if I were to continue to end up in jail and continue to have these charges, then that's a different story. You're
Yes.
like, oh, maybe you are a piece of shit mom then, you know? But it's like, I think people that make mistakes, you know, and they change, I feel like it's a whole different story.
Yeah, you should be an inspirational speaker and go travel and talk about your story, because it can and it does change people. I don't know. That might be your next step. What are your plans for the future?
Well, I think everyone knows now I'm like recently pregnant, so I have a baby that will come in March. I would like, I've been talking with my management group, but I would like to start YouTube. I think a family YouTube channel would be really fun, and social media can be very dangerous and toxic, I think, in relationships, and toxic anywhere, actually, if you
don't use it right.
Yeah. And I feel like I could, shift more to like clean family content and have boundaries. Like with my boyfriend now, it's like there's very like strong boundaries, because like nowadays Instagram, all of those things are ways to like flirt and like, if you wanted to do anything sketch, like those are the ways that it's happening now. And I feel like because of the things I've been through and he's been through, there's just like, we know, and we're like, there will be like just very strong boundaries, and you have to have those in order for, I think, it to work with social media as your job.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, I think continuing social media, I have a couple ideas I want to start, but I think I want to wait on those to say anything, because I just don't know exactly if I will. But
how about your, I know everybody always asks me what's going on with your show.
Oh.
Is that still in the works? What's the last that you heard?
Yeah, as of now, it is still in the works. I know it takes a while for these things to go. I do know the network still wants us, so they, I don't know how much I can say about it, but yes, it is still in the works, and these things take a while.
And they did have you, I mean, everything was put on hold.
Yeah,
all those months that you were in
a little
court.
bit for what I got in trouble, and so they wanted to wait and see how it went, and then now that it's done, it's still like a little bit of a waiting game, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of in the dark as much as everyone else, but I'll keep everyone updated on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a baby.
Yes, I'm so excited.
And so what does Ocean and Indy think of you having a new sibling, and also their dad is having a new sibling for them? What are their thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like it's their thoughts. I can't obviously speak for them. Ocean, I think he just turned 3, and it's hard for him to comprehend. I think he knows what baby in a tummy means, but like not to the extent of like he's gonna have 2 blended families. I'm sure it is a lot, but I don't think he fully can understand what's going on yet. Indy, on the other hand, does know what's coming. I think she's the one that struggles more with, like, I know it's hard for her to go back and forth, and that's still an adjustment for them. And that's been really hard to see, is like her adjusting, and yeah, they will be getting siblings, and for her she's hard to read, because she's kind of like me, where she suppresses like feelings. And so I was actually talking to her last night, like, how do you feel? Like, are you excited? And she does say she is excited for a sibling. She wants both of us to have girls. She's getting a sister. She wants me to have a girl too. So I think she's excited for sisters. I don't know what I'm having yet, but
I do.
You do? I forget that. And Ocean wants a brother.
Yes.
He keeps saying boy. So I don't know. I think they're excited. I think even if they do have certain feelings about it, they're so young that they don't understand why they're feeling a certain way, but they probably feel it.
I'm going to ask you a question to go off that. Why, I guess this is more of like a mother question. I know, sorry to put you on the spot here, but I guess you can't speak for Tate, but I was wondering why you and Tate would move so quickly into bringing another life into this world, knowing all the stuff that you have just recently went through.
Yeah. Going along with that, yeah, like you said, I can't speak for him and I don't know how he feels and what their intentions were and how they're feeling. But for me, I can honestly say that one, I love Dakota a lot, and I did have like a miscarriage, back in October, and I feel like there comes with a certain craving when you lose. Like it is known to like that you want that you lost it. It comes with more of that, but back then I was excited, so it's like that hasn't changed. But I did tell you and Dad that it's my best version of me, like is being like pregnant and motherhood, and I think I just got so sidetracked from that with like our group of friends that I forgot that that's what I love and that's like the best version of me is taking care of kids. Like that's just something I ventured or I just like
You love.
forgot, and that's what I
And you're
love.
so good at it.
And I do want like not maybe like not a couple more after this, but I did know I wanted more kids, and so it's something I knew I wanted, and I don't know, like I am excited. There's no reasoning, but also I think once Tate and I felt like maybe a void for a long time or like just not a strong love, and so that we both found it. It was like exciting, and we wanted to progress with it. I can't say for him, but I do know that for me that's kind of how it's gone.
Well, that's great. Well, I love your two kids more than life itself, so I know I will love the next one just as much. So I'm excited too, and
Yeah.
I think it's great that you're starting to be happier, and I could only see you moving up, and hopefully you can continue to be happy.
Yeah, I agree.
So I do have a question. I know everybody always asks as well, and I'm sure you've got this on your other podcast, but I thought they were kind of silly questions, but just to get off a little subject. So is your hair real? Do you wear extensions? I always hear like people ask me, and so
Yeah.
um,
Well, so my hair used to go down past my
Yes.
butt. So yes, it was real. It's always been real. And then I cut 8 inches off recently. And so my hairdresser advertises extensions. So she would put them in my hair for like to advertise. But I've only worn extensions like 3 times in my life just for fun. So yeah, my hair is real and always been real.
and I guess the other question, I know it's so silly. How old are you, really?
29. I convinced, I think,
So many
people that I was old, but it's honestly so insulting to myself. But whatever. I did it to myself.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Well, I know that what are your plans other than YouTube? Well, I guess you said that you weren't going to really say what other things you were planning on.
I just don't
but-
know how. I have a couple things in mind. I don't know how official they are, so it's like I don't know. But I do have ideas that I want. It's away from social media. I do want to like start a business of some kind. I love event planning, party planning, stuff like that. So I think it'd be cool to maybe do that.
So if any of you entrepreneurs that are out there want to reach out to Taylor, she's looking for maybe a partner or something to get into.
Yes. Oh, we have Happy Valley, our last drop.
Oh,
Is coming this month. Well, we're in September, so yeah, it's
can
starting.
you tell them a little bit about Happy Valley and what that is?
Happy Valley was our brand with my ex-husband and our group of friends. We ended up buying them out, so it's just Tate and I, and it's our last drop to close it off. We have knitted hoodies, family, like all sizes from baby to mom and dad, so they're gonna all range, and so we're gonna be selling the rest of those. We have so many coming, and yeah, that'll be our last drop.
Awesome. Can we give one away from this episode
Yeah.
to whoever goes and likes and subscribes to my channel?
Yes, tell them.
Well,
to-
I'll pick one out of,
Yeah.
whoever does that.
yeah, tell them like comment so we can like draw their name or something, right?
I don't know how that works, so yes.
Okay, yeah. So just comment on.
Looking
one of
at
her
my guys
platforms.
over there. So, yes,
Okay. Yes.
go and comment and go to YouTube, subscribe, and we will pick somebody's name and mail that out to you.
Yeah.
I wish we had one to show.
I know, but they can. They'll be on.
They're so cool.
They'll be on my platforms as well. So Taylor Frankie Paul on TikTok and Instagram if you want to look at them.
Well, to wrap this up, I am glad that you came back to listen, and hope that you continue on this journey with me. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and all the other social media outlets.
Yes.
So until next week, I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to May Influence You. I've been wanting to do this for over 2 years, and it's finally happening. And to get all of us here has been the biggest challenge, because my kids and my husband don't want to be here, but they're helping me out. So just to give you a little introduction, my name is Leanne May, and I'm a mother of 3, wife to Jeremy, and
I hope so.
and a nana to 2 of the most precious humans alive. I'm a realtor here in Salt Lake City. Done that for my main job for 19 years, which I love. So if you're into wanting to buy or sell any real estate, contact me. I'd love to help you, and I'd love the opportunity. I will let my family introduce themselves. We can start with Jeremy, my husband.
I'm the lucky one. I'm Jeremy. Been married for 27 years, 3 kids. I'm a general contractor and an outdoorsman, and
Just here.
just here.
Okay.
My turn.
Sure.
I'm Taylor, and I am a mom as well. I have 2 cute little kids. I do social media for a living, and recently divorced, and just learning the new ways of life. That's me.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm Aspen. I'm the middle child, 26. Still living at home, mooching off my parents. No, not at all. They actually make us pay for everything. And yeah, I don't know. I like to shop. I'm a shopaholic. I have a problem, so if anyone has an AA meeting for that, I need to go. That's me.
It's awesome. And my son, my little jerk son, didn't show up today. He said that he only gave me 1 shot at filming, and he wasn't coming back. So I guess he's not here. His loss,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, his loss.
I thought we'd start off with some Q&As, some questions that some of the people on social media can't even speak on social media wanted to know about our family. The first one is, what is your family favorite activity to do together?
Moab trips.
Yeah, vacation.
Vacation.
Oh yeah, we take a Moab trip every single Easter. Is it Easter
Yeah.
weekend?
A couple times a year.
EJS weekend. We're in
And our whole
Moab.
family goes out there, and it is so much fun.
We do Lake Powell. We try to do Lake Powell once a year.
Yeah, anything outdoors with the family is really fun. Love camping.
We don't like shopping.
But we do like to
That's
go out to eat.
false.
We do that a lot.
They both shop just as much, and so do you. You just do
I love
car
to
parts
shop.
instead of clothes. It's the same thing.
I
Yeah.
love shopping.
We're big
Fun.
foodies.
We like to eat. As you can tell. Another question that they asked us is what our favorite holiday is and why. I think we always spend a lot of time. We love Halloween and we love Christmas.
We do all our family holidays together, but the most, actually, or they're all different. Like, I love Halloween. We do a big Halloween party.
I like them
But
all.
I think you like Christmas.
I honestly like them all.
I
everyone's
guess
together.
every holiday is where we all come together, so they're all
Yeah.
kind of special. Except my dad doesn't like holidays.
I'm not a big fan of holidays, but I do like the 4th of July. I'm very patriotic, I guess. I love my country. I didn't fight for it, but I love it.
Well, good. That's where you live.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. The other question that was asked was, how old is Hunter and is he single?
Yeah, he's 23. I mean, you didn't know. 23 or 24?
He's 23.
He's 23.
Okay, 23, and he is currently taken. So sorry, ladies.
So we always get that question on social media
Yeah, they
all the
wanted to know
time.
about Hunter.
They always want to know about Hunter.
Because he's so good looking. He just takes after his dad. That's
Oh,
why.
No.
What do you think the best, I guess the other question is, what do you think the best trait or value your parents taught?
Oh,
It doesn't matter. You guys
I
don't
think-
do any.
No, I think you guys taught us, like, if we wanted something, we had to work for it. You guys weren't going to
Yes.
give it to us at all.
No free rides.
Yeah. So I think that's big because I have a lot of friends that